Good morning, all. Am I audible? Please acknowledge. Anyone can acknowledge, please. Am I audible? Okay, thanks, Aditya. Fine. So, we still have very less participants. Only 33 are present, including me. So, please ask your other friends to join as soon as possible. So, because today we'll be discussing about, as you have requested, about how to go about the project. Right. So today's session will be discussing about how to select a project, what are the different do's and don'ts that we have to follow when we start off with the project. Right. So before that, while we take the attendance, I would request you to be ready with a pen and paper or whatever notes, just to write few important things as we discuss. There will be few important points that you have to make note of, which will be useful for you when you proceed ahead in your projects. Fine. So in the meantime, please be ready with the pen and paper or anything that you can make note. Right. And I also request you to put a message in your other groups, your friends. Ask them to join as soon as possible because we still have just 34 participants. The sooner we start, we'll have more time to discuss in depth. Okay, so let's start with the attendance first. Roll number one,
Present, sir.
two,
Present, sir.
three,
Present, sir.
four,
Present, sir.
five, that's it, six. Six is absent. Seven,
Present, sir.
eight,
Present, sir.
nine, 10, 11,
Yes, sir.
12, 13,
13 present, sir.
14,
14 present, sir.
15, 16, 17,
Present, sir.
18,
18 present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27,
Present, sir.
28,
Present, sir.
29, 30,
30 present, sir.
31,
Present, sir.
32, 33,
34 present, sir.
35, 36, 37,
Present, sir.
38,
Yes, sir.
39,
Yes, sir.
40,
Yes, sir. Present.
41,
42 present, sir.
43,
44 present, sir.
45,
45 present, sir.
46,
Present, sir. 46.
47, 48,
48 present, sir.
49,
49 present, sir.
50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56,
57 present, sir.
58, 59,
60 present, sir.
61,
62 present, sir.
63, 64, 65,
Present, sir.
66, 67,
Present, sir.
68,
Present, sir.
69,
Present, sir.
70,
Present, sir.
71, 71 is up. Okay. So I hope you all must be ready with the pen and paper. So wherever you feel like important, you can make a note of it. We will discuss today how to go about a project, how to select a project. Uh, Once selected, what are the different areas to be focused upon, important things when you are into the project, what should be the objective of the project, and how can you deal with other things, right? Technical, non-technical, and those things. So and lastly, maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, we'll have a different a question answer or query clarification session because you must you must be having few doubts or queries with respect to few things, right? So we'll have that also. So hopefully the session will be very important for you. There will be few people who will be like with the mindset that the sir, we have already selected project and we are working off, right? So how is this session important or maybe like that? So for them also, this is not about just selecting a project and starting off with it, but once you have selected, what are the different things you encounter, what are the different important areas to be focused, right, in order to proceed well and good in your project, right? So we'll be covering holistic view right from start to end. Fine. So as you have requested for this session, so starting off with simple basic, and I have already mentioned, I think, in the previous when few people have asked me. So, sir, how do we select a project, or how can we say that this project is a good project or something like that? So, I have already mentioned. I remember that by this time, at least for when you are into seventh semester, you should be. I mean, to be very frank, you have to be ready with the at least problem statement of the project in order to proceed, right? But it's never too late to start good. So those who haven't, I'm sure few of you have already started and doing pretty good. But for those who haven't yet given a thought upon how to go about a project, for them this will be really very helpful. And still, a few people might be in the dilemma like we have few multiple topics. Then which one to be selected, sir? Which one would be a better one, or which is easier one, maybe from your point of view, right? So those questions I will try to answer as per like best of my knowledge, right? So starting the topic first, like how to select a topic. So there can be different ways to it. There can be different approaches. For example, just to give you a basic analogy, either you can go like top to down approach or bottom up approach, right? What is top to down? Top to down means like you select a project title, maybe randomly for anywhere, and you start working for that as a project, right? Then whatever the demands of that project is, whatever the tools you have to learn for it, what are the languages that you have to learn for it, you start learning those and then you complete the project. That is a simple, I mean, like a typical way of how people approach, right? A top-down approach. Select a topic or problem statement and then work for it. But another approach, which is the bottom up approach, which is I prefer, is actually the one of the best way to start off with the project, because reason being, first of all, what is bottom up approaches? First, you understand what are your strengths or what are the areas that interest you, your field of expertise, or whatever thing in which you are good enough, right? Taking that as a base, then what best you can do using those tools or whatever knowledge that you have, right? Right. So Down approach can be whatever the title or the project is. You decide the title of the project and then you learn or gain the knowledge for it. But the best way to do is whatever the knowledge that you have, whatever the understanding of any tool or software that you have, or any technology that you have earlier worked upon, taking those as your knowledge, your strength itself. On top of it, what project that you can make, that can be the one of the best. Because the reason being, because it will not just explore your area of interest. Because since you have learned a particular tool, you have little knowledge about it. So when you decide to make a project out of it, you will learn a lot of more things instead of just taking a random, very catchy project title and then working on those tools and software which you will never be, you might not be interested in, and which will never be fruitful enough for you. Right? So that is basically two different ways of how you approach a project. Right? One is first to decide a title or a project and then you work for it, or else whatever knowledge that you have, right? Whatever the area of interest that you had earlier. So in those domain itself, try to make advancement and then make a project, good final year project out of it. So these are the two different approaches. Now, some people, for a few people, it might be suitable that okay, let me take a good, very good project, and whatever it takes, I will learn those new tools. Let it be a new tool, new software, new languages, right? I'm ready to learn those things, but I want this project to be done. But few people might be like, no, whatever I have done earlier, I want to make best out of it. I want to, make it to a next level. Then I'll take those domain itself and I'll bring advancement to it to make a big project. So in that case, what happens? Whatever your area of interest is, you become more professional, more technically sound in those domains. So that is the advantage of having that. So problem identification or problem statement of your project is a very important aspect of your project, because that is what your whole journey will start off, right? For example, if you want to go somewhere, you're selecting a destination is very important. You cannot just, okay, I have to go out and I have to plan a trip and I'll just go out of my house and then decide, right? You have to plan it priorly. You have to book tickets. You have to go. You have to see the destination. What are the different resources, or what are the different, accommodation facilities, or traveling modes of different modes of traveling to those areas, and things like that. So similarly, the project is like you have to first identify what is a project or what are the different tools and technology that I'll be requiring to in order to complete that project and so on. So understanding the problem set definition, identifying it, and then moving ahead is very important aspect, right? So how can we select a project? The question is how can we select a problem statement? Now again, there are few different things. For few people, it might be approach one. For few people, it might be approach two, which will be suitable for you. So depending on the person, it is different. It is subjective, right? Not everybody can follow one thing, or not everybody can be different person. So for that, to identify a right problem statement, right? And mind you, you should give more time or enough time in order to just select a title, because that will decide your whole journey of this project, right? So selecting topic, you should give most of the time. You have to do a lot of research for it, hunt the internet and start digging for different types of project, real-time problems which can be converted into projects. That will be really grateful. But question is how to go about it, right? How to select a problem. Now, number one, as I said, you in general think upon what are the different real-time problems that we are having currently, and then come up with a solution for it, your own method to approach that problem. And that can be one way. Another way is there are a lot of research papers available. Those who are into researches, they have already identified a few important problems which are unaddressed, right? So searching for research paper, which might be your base paper, and then understanding those research paper, what are the problems that they have defined, what is the problem with that research paper itself, right? Because a research paper, as the name suggests, they are just the important experiments findings with respect to few real-time problems, right? So when you go through this research paper, you would understand what are the different problems that we can have, and those problems can be converted as problem statements for your project. So of course, there will be few different aspects with respect to it, but and I also understand that research paper might not be really easy enough in the beginning to understand, but a research paper will give you very good idea as to what all different problems that I can approach. Uh, and you will not understand the research paper in one go itself, right? It is not possible for anybody to understand a research paper, because research paper in itself is so much technical that just to design or to publish a paper, there are a lot of iterations it has gone through, a lot of filtration process, right? So only then a final version of a research paper is published. So understanding into depth whatever has been discussed in the text in that research paper will not be as easy as reading a simple article in a newspaper or something like a simple book or something like that. So you have to repeatedly go through that research paper, maybe for 5 to 10 times or more than that in some cases, to understand what actually that research paper does. But mind you, research paper having, taking a research paper, understanding it, and then proceeding ahead with a problem statement will make your task very much easier and will give you a sense of understanding that what exactly has to be done, uh, what exact tools has to be learned, what exact languages have to be learned, and how do I set up my environment in order to make my project a successful one, and so on. So research paper will give you a lot of other ideas directly or indirectly. Fine. So these are different ways you can go about selecting a project. Now, apart from it, you can either search on internet. I'm pretty sure that most of you have already gone to the internet and searched for 5 million CS projects, something like that. So nothing bad in it. There are a few websites, very good websites, which give you different types of projects, which can be called as a 5 million project for different brands. So if you just Google it out 5 million projects for computer science department, so you have different sites which will give you different titles, right? But the very important thing is you have to see. You have to take a decision from your side. By when I say you, it is your team, right? And sometimes it can be your own understanding or it is your team's understanding. So when you search these topics, don't search for projects, search for an idea, right? An idea can be converted into a project later, because idea, when you search for a good idea, for example, let's say when you visit a particular website, finding a project for CS department, and you'll get tons and tons of titles. You yourself will be getting confused which one to select. You will feel that all are so good, which one to go about, or some people might feel कि all are boring. I'm not interested. I mean, something else, right? So keep those titles aside, but think upon only the idea, right? What are the different ideas that you can get? Now, to get an idea, as I mentioned, you can either go refer websites, or you can think upon, if you have good imagination skills, you can own think upon what can be the real-time problems, and those ideas of those real-time problems can be converted into a project, right? So when you in case if you're searching for those websites, the titles in those websites, search for an idea. For example, just to give an example, let's say that how uh, you know how a disease can be detected, let's say in plants, how a disease can be detected, or how a farmer can get to know about a disease just by taking a photograph of the plant or a leaf of the plant, right? So this is just an idea. Like for example, if a farmer is farming and he wants to know what kind of disease is my plant is suffering from, right? So what he has to do, he has to just take. You can create an application which can just take a photo of that plant, and that application, your project will tell the information about what exactly is the project, what exactly is the disease, what are the do's and don'ts in order to cope up with that disease for that plant, and so on. So this is just an idea. Now, how to convert into a project? You might require input device like a camera or a mobile phone, simple mobile phone, which can take a photograph. Now, once it takes the photograph, you may require few algorithms to filter out those photos. The algorithms which can extract few features, a difference between a normal looking plant or a normal looking leaf, and which is a healthy leaf, and a infected leaf. Right. So when those different features are extracted, you can form few conclusions. You can identify, you can interlink to some of the websites which can tell you information about what can be a potential disease that particular plant is suffering from. Right. And then that data can be retrieved and showcases to the farmer so that it will come to know. Now, this was just an idea. Now, this can be implemented in many other different ways, right? There can be different ways to do it. You can also include different, augmented reality to it, or virtual reality, or machine learning. There are different ways to do it, but you can simply do on the basis of just like a database project, which can only take a photo. You already have the data into a database, and you just retrieve the data. But it will be not that. I mean, it shouldn't be that simple in a simple because this is a final year project, so it has to be a level which can be called as a final year project because you are working in a team of four, right? Three or four. So it should be a good enough. So even if it is a simple project, you make sure that you have multiple functionalities which you can add, right? It shouldn't be just a simple like you have done in your mini project or kind of your hobby project or something like that. So it should be a proper final year project which has to be really worthy enough to be called as a engineering final year project. And plus, you are not working alone; you are working in a team. So it should be a really good project. Now, having said that, when you decide upon these topics to be selected or problem statements to be identified, your aim should be a long term. Like, for example, if you want to select a topic, think upon the grounds like on which domains or on which side you want to set your career. For example, if you might be interested in web development, you might be interested in just application development, or if you might be interested in database designing, right? Or if you might be interested in full stack development or something like that. If you might be interested in research areas, R&D, right? So whatever your field of interest is, whatever your long-term goal is, you have to decide your project title on the basis of that because in the longer run it will you know uh, it will be beneficial for you because the final year project, it is not just a 1 month, 2 month, or 3 4 months work. This is the complete project that you'll be doing it for 1 year. So when you're completed, when you're done with this final year project, and when you step into company, uh, if you select a problem statement which is of your area of interest, which you want to look forward to get into that domain as a career, then this project will play a very important role. Let it be your placements or even after you join a company, right? So if you think upon those lines and not just think from the point of view of having a project. That's it. Let that project be anything. It shouldn't be that way. Set up a project which is good for you for a longer run. Now the question, a simple question that you might ask me that, sir, we are four people in a team. Every four is having a different area of interest, and how can we come up as a single project, right? It is being indecisive. So in that domain, in that under those circumstances, we have to come up to a common ground, a common decision, wherein you have to decide a project which incorporates these three important domains. For example, let's say there are three people in a group or four people, right? And two of them are interested in web development. One of them is interested in research areas, research in latest technologies like artificial intelligence or machine learning, something like that, right? And another one is interested in key, like I want to do something with respect to queries, database. I get fascinated with the data. I want to work in big data or cloud computing, something like that. So you can come up with a project which can be a simple enough, uh, which incorporates all these three domains. For example, uh, let's say accident related data. So, like in order to detect accidents or potential accidents in a huge traffic cities. So, let's say you can make use of for the person who is interested in machine learning in that group. He can think upon grounds like how if I get an image of a regular traffic pattern, how can I make use of that image and make various type of possibilities which can avoid accidents and store this, make this data, not just store, make this data available. Now, once that data is available, the guy who is interested in database, who can play with a lot of data, he can take this data and set up a full knowledge base or a complete database, which can be helpful for those two guys who are interested in web development or front end development or application related development. So they can filter out the data which is required and present it to the UI. Right. So this can be just one example. So there can be no way that a group of people having 4 people or 3 people with different even with different ideas cannot come up on single ground. It cannot happen. You can definitely come up on single ground. You can definitely come up on a single decision, which can fulfill all the other group members requirement or needs. So that is one thing. Now, when you start off, let me give you a little knowledge about how can be different areas in the project. What are the different tools have to be learned? You must have to be already aware with these things. But just to reiterate, for example, if you really want to get into web development, then you might be already knowing it. Let me get it from you. Those who are interested in web development, what are the different tools that you are supposed to learn? Anybody?
So what's up?
What are the different tools that you are supposed to learn if you want to get into web development?
Markup languages, front end, back end tools,
Okay.
such as for front end, we can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And for backend, we can use PHP or Laravel or MySQL. So for connection based, we'll generally use PHP. And we can use WordPress for UI. WordPress as a UI tool, and that's it.
Okay, fair enough. So as you mentioned, a lot of tools, front end, back end, which tools can be used. I am sure pretty much that if you are already aware with these things, right? But just to give you again an overview, like he said, few of the important areas that you have to focus upon is like scripting languages like JavaScript or Angular JS or something like that, which interests you or which is trending or required in the industry, right? Because whatever you learn, you make sure that it is going to be helpful for your career point of view. So JavaScript, PHP, or different other languages, HTML, or CSS for styling, right? So these are important areas you have to focus when you think about web development. If you're interested in database management tools, if you want to play with the queries and all, then the important tools that you have to learn is like Django or MongoDB, apart from just basic XAMPP or servers and these things, right? So you have to be really good with the MySQL and query related languages, right? So that will help you. One of the another important is Spring, right? So these are few important tools which you have to work upon if you are really planning to do project in database. Then again, for the let's say if you want to get into like an application oriented something or web development something, sorry, website development, product development. So different types of user interfaces that you have to learn. You may have to learn different tools like Android if you are going to implement an application, Android application or something like that. So you have to be familiar with those type of development environment which will help you to create those applications. If you want to get into research, a few areas can be like machine learning, artificial intelligence. IoT is so much trending. You can look for tons and tons of opportunities which can be called as a project which can be converted into solutions in this domain, IoT. Because we talk about smart cities, and when we talk about smart cities, most of things are related to automated things. So when we talk about automated, there are a lot of sensors involved, processors involved. So there are a lot of opportunities. Even a simpler project, a simple manual work, which can be converted into an automated work, is a smart work, right? So that can be a few important areas if you're thinking for making a project on IoT, right? Just to give you a simple example, we have so many lot of foundries available here in Udyambag, so many mechanical industries, right? So a lot of them deals with furnace, boiling up the metals, right? uh, grinding, mining, a lot of different weldings. So, lot of work, mechanical work going on, right? So, when there are a lot of mechanical works, there can be possibilities of hazardous, right? For example, gas leakage or furnace, high temperature in the furnace, which is beyond threshold. So, there you can, as a computer science engineer, how can you play your part there is you can make use of the sensors available which can detect the temperature and prompt the software that you have reached the threshold, so cool down the machines. Or you can make use of the sensors which can detect leakage of the gases and play an alarm that there's a leak in the gas, and if the leakage exceeds, there can be a fire, right? So these are just a simple example that I'm giving. Of course, there have to be multiple functionalities involved. It shouldn't be just a single task that you are accomplishing in your project. It should be a combination of different tasks, right? So these can be again an example. Now there are a lot of people I've seen that interested in only machine learning. They feel machine learning is the only thing which is can be called as a final point. There are a lot of other different things. Machine learning is just a part, very small part of it. I've seen many, according to the previous batches, you can I can remember that a lot of projects were slightly inclined towards machine learning more. I don't know. It was whether the influencing factor that one team has got to discuss machine learning, and others have just simply uh, you know appreciated that idea and started on the similar lines. But there can be many different other ways, right? Like I give example IoT, right? Then web development. There cannot be a project which can be called as a old project, right? So of course it shouldn't be very which has been used or which has been very common project. It should be very really common. Your project should be something which is adding new factor, something which is innovative, which can be called as an engineering uh, final year project, like some advancement. Even if that project is a common, very well known, very common project, there has to be some advancement to it. Unless and until there is advancement, if you can convince that these things were not incorporated earlier, were never used, were never thought about, then you can pitch that idea and that can be your project. So that is one thing. Selecting a project title depending on how you want to go about in your further career, maybe 5, 10 years or 15, 20 years down the line. Another aspect is thinking from the point of preparing a good research paper, right? You have to select the project title in such a way that it can be that project work, because you will be putting efforts consistently for 1 year. So those efforts shouldn't go into vain, and those efforts can actually be converted into something productive and published as a research, your own work, right? So if you give a thought right from the beginning that I have to select a topic which is never discussed, or which is very trending and not much areas are explored in those domains, then you can go ahead selecting that problem as your problem statement, and then proceed ahead with your whatever the contribution that you can give in that domain, and that you can produce, you can make that efforts more fruitful by producing or generating a research paper on that. So if you have that in mind, your definitely your whole process will get aligned in order to make your project more productive. I hope that's makes sense to you what I mean to say here, right? It shouldn't be just a random project you start, you complete it, and you're done, right? It should be something which can be really helpful enough because, uh, mind you, that the companies will not ask you more about your subject, how much did you get your marks in so and so subject, unless they are really looking forward in that particular areas, right? But they will definitely be interested in what type of project that you make in your final year project as your final year project. So, what was your role there in the team? Definitely, these can be very, very, very important questions because selecting a project will itself tell about the person or the groups, the project group. Because if you go out and select a simple project, that means that shows that you lack confidence. You don't want to explore much. You don't want to get your hand dirty enough to understand the real problems in the real world. You have just taken this project for the sake of completion as a formality, right? So even if you select a good topic, a good trending topic, technically sounding good, and you do a very little part of it, that your own part, then that project can be really good enough, right? Instead of making a big project but very simple project, I would suggest to make a small project but very technically sounding and something which can be called as a research and a productive one. So that should be your thought process when you select a project title. Selecting a project title is done. Uh, I've told you about different area, different website. I mean, how to select a product project, be it research paper or to different sites or your own interest, whatever your area of interest is. How can I make a project out of what interests me, right? So those are the different things. Now, once you have these, okay, basically there are a few more things. For example, when you start off with the project, now you have already formed your teams. There are guides allocated to you. So the main area, I mean, one of the important aspect is whatever team that you have formed, you have decided on your own which like who all should be your team members. So since the team is already formed, I would not give you any input upon how team should be formed. Like because there are few things which where you have to focus how a team should be formed. How uh, when you have decided a topic, you have to understand that topic and what are the different areas that you have to focus uh, in order to complete that project, and then who is expert or who has little knowledge about those domains. Taking those people, you can form a team. But since you have already formed a team, I would not waste much time to give you input on how to form a team. Instead, how to go about a team which is already formed, right? So, in your team, as and when you proceed, there will be very different things. Few people can gel up very well. Few people cannot. Uh, few people in the team can be really good, which can be called the perfect team. Every person is good at something and contributing something in order to make the project success. But at the same time, there will be few groups wherein nobody is willing to work or not interested or getting know, that cooperation from the team members and so on. But still, since you have formed the team, you have to only look forward in order to how can you make best of what you have as your team member, right? So, mind you, I mean, there are few people might be into that dilemma. Okay, my team members are good. Let them work. I will just be there, doing simpler tasks. So that shouldn't be the case because everybody's contribution demands for the project to be a successful one, and you have to play your role because for the people those who say, "Sir, I mean, I'm good at theory. I'm not so good at theory. I can just get average marks, but I'm really good at practicals." So for those people, this is the good time. This is the platform wherein you can demonstrate your practical knowledge. Because I've seen many students coming up and saying, "Sir, theoretically," when we ask them, "Why did you score less?" So they'll be like, "Sir, theoretically, I'm not so good. I cannot produce the exact answers. I'm good at understanding. I'm good at practical." Right. So this is the time for you to understand the practical aspect of the project and make a project really good enough. So there are few examples in your class itself who has done really well when we talk about projects. It will be mini projects that you have done in web technology or in database, DBMS, right? So for those people, those who are thinking, "Ki, okay, I have good teammates, I'll just sit back and relax." For them, mind you, every guide knows about the student, how well it can perform, and what exactly that person would have performed in the group, right? So when you present, that's why we have different phases, right? When you present your project, the way of expressing, the way you get to technicals, will show a lot of things that how much you know about the project, right? So don't be into that impression that let my teammates work and I'll be just there. So you will be getting the marks depending on how much efforts that you're putting, right? So don't think about like whether my project will be good or not, right? The marks that you get for a project are basically for your efforts, right? And project should be good enough to be called as a final year project, right? Because it's in a team, it's not an individual project, right? It's in a team of 3 and 4 people. So it should be worthy enough for 4 engineers or 3 engineers to make a good project and can be called as a final year project. Right. So there are few other things which are not technical. There are a lot of things which I've talked about technical. Now let's move ahead to discuss the non-technical things. By non-technical, I mean, like I mentioned, teamwork. Teamwork is very important. Like, so you, once you decide the project title, whenever you segregate on what are works to be done in the project, you there will be few people who will be like, okay, I will do everything, or I will be doing this, most of the work, and others will be just documenting it or making the record of it. That shouldn't be the case, right? Because if you, I'm talking about those people who want to do a lot of things, who want to learn a lot of things. At some point in time, you get saturated and you get overloaded with the things, and you will give up everything, right? But at that point in time, your teammates will not be in the position to take over. So it should be right from the beginning that you have to divide the work, assign adequate work to your teammates, and cooperate with each other to make the work happen, aligned. Very important aspect is make a note of these things right away, right from today. Uh, I'm pretty sure that few of you have already started out these things, but just from my side, making you clear that right from today, make a separate book or a diary for your project. Note down all the important aspects that you have done so far for your project. For example, if you have gone through a research paper, if you have searched something, let it be on YouTube or a blog or a research paper, if you have found anything interesting, make a note of it. Even if you are not pretty sure whether that particular research paper I'm going to uh, select as my base paper for my project, still make a note of it. Make a note of 10 to 15 research paper. Go through 10 to 15 research paper. Understand what they are trying to address. Look upon the uh, future scope. Every research paper has a future scope, right? So whatever has been mentioned in the future scope there, you can take those points as your problem statement for your project, right? So that is the easiest way to do it. So the point here is to make a note of every minute thing that you do in your project. Let it be relevant or irrelevant from the long point of view, but make sure that you note it. So sooner or later you will be getting a notice to make these diaries and get it verified from your respective guides on consistent basis. But uh, it is better to start away right now itself. Let the instruction come whenever they want to come. But from your side, it should be started from today. I'm pretty sure if you must have already started. But for them who haven't, right away you have to start off maintain a separate diary just for your project. This will be not just important for your project during your project time, but after your completion, when you complete your whole project, when you get into companies, when you uh, get graduated and work for companies. But in case if you land up doing a career those similar grounds, then whatever the important notes that you have made in your diary, those notes will be very important, right? Because it will give you an idea how did you overcome few problems, how did you come up with a solution, what are different research paper have you gone through. So those notes will be very important then, right? And as you do it, project is not something which can be done in 1 month or 2 months. It is a combination of efforts that you put in consistently. So consistency is very important key. Consistency is the key. I would say do very little, but that little should be very consistent. Do little today, maybe a little day after tomorrow, alternate, or maybe daily basis, or maybe make sure that you set up a weekly basis targets and you accomplish those weekly targets. And if you are on track for those weekly targets, you will accomplish those monthly basis target. And once you accomplish those monthly basis target, you will be, doing sufficient work by the end of your semester. Right. So that will avoid you being under pressure, or you will not have that piled up work to be done at the end of it. So that is the easy way to uh, you know proceed ahead with the project. And as I said, your efforts, you as a team member, how can you contribute? Your efforts are very important for the team, right? So uh, few important other important things. For example, guides. You must have already seen upon the list. You have allotted the guides, right? So you must have this notion ki, "Arey yaar, I've got very strict guide." Or if you might be happy that I've got a very cool guide. So according to me, I would say those who have got the strict guides, they are lucky, because strict guide will ensure that you are aligned, you are in the process, you are consistent with your efforts, you are disciplined. So you will feel the difference not now but in the end. That a strict guide would have helped you a lot more than a cool guide, as you say, right? So according to that, I would say strict guide. Those who have got the strict guide, you should be lucky. And there might be few things that, for example, not everybody is good at everything, right? So whatever project that you decide, feel free to approach any faculty who has done any particular research, or whose area of interest lies upon those ground. Feel free to ask those faculty members as well. It is not a compulsion that whoever your guide is, you have to stick to them, and you have to ask them. Not like that. Of course, they will also help you out with respect to whom to concern about it, right? So just to leave up with a small note, a few of the projects that you can think upon, as I've already mentioned, for example, big data, cloud computing, computer graphics, then data visualization, image or data processing, then AI, machine learning, right, deep learning, then blockchain are the trending topics again, like cryptography, cyber security, right? Then diagnosis of diseases and all. So there are a lot of different topics, big data. So the more you do research, the more idea you get. So uh, these are the different area of fields, different fields that you can focus upon for your project. So anybody want to ask me anything apart from what we have not discussed? Any particular doubt, whatever it will be.
Sir, is IoT allowed for us, sir?
Pardon me, you're not clear.
Sir, is IoT allowed for us also?
IoT, I'll check out with the project coordinator. It should be allowed, but it shouldn't. The reason why it is not, suggested, is because it shouldn't be just a simple project, right? It should be application oriented. It shouldn't be doing single task. It should be a combination of tasks. For example, it should be a full-fledged project discussing a solution for a particular problem, and not just a simple task. There is a difference between a solution to a problem or a solution to a task. It shouldn't be a simple task, because there are a lot of it should, in simple lines, it shouldn't be just a plug and play. The reason is because there are a lot of tools available which help you do things, just plug and play and you are ready with the project. That should be the case. As a computer science engineer, you should code those solutions for those problems. So unless and until you are not coding those projects will not be allowed. So that is where we have a phase zero, right? In order to filter out those projects. So if they are simple projects where there is not much of coding, those projects will be not selected, because as a computer science engineer, the very primary thing is you have to code yourself. It shouldn't be automated. So if your project demands for a lot of coding, those will be accepted definitely. If there is just a plug and play, they will not be accepted. So it is fine to go into IoT also, but you have to code yourself. That is the whole motive. I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Anybody else? Yeah, anybody else? So once you go back, put this important points, think upon these lines what I have given you as an input, and then you proceed ahead. And whenever you get doubt, when you proceed ahead, keep a record of those doubts. Make a note in your diary, project diary, and you can later ask me. There is no problem. Whenever you feel like asking those doubts, you can ask me, or any guide you are comfortable with. Right. So with that, since we have already lapsed the time, we'll conclude the lecture here. Please make a note of whatever doubts you have and ask me in the next lecture. Right. So we should conclude here. You can leave the meeting.